This year, MLB The Show completely reimagined Team Affinity Programs, and you might want to reimagine actually getting all of them. Look, it takes a lot longer to actually complete Team Affinity for MLB The Show 25. However, I do encourage you guys to check out my video detailing the quickest way to get them done. So it is definitely a longer grind in 25, and on top of that, I don't think you need to get all of the cards. There's not a big incentive, and if we're going to be honest, a lot of them are pretty mid. But having a chance to play with some of them and unfortunately play against some of them, I can tell you there is some fantastic cards in Team Affinity that you guys need to get. Let me know in the comment section down below who are your favorite Team Affinity cards. If you guys are enjoying the content, leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's get into it. But before we do, just a quick reminder here. The My Journey programs that are out currently that feature the Jolt cards we'll talk about today, this is not the only way that you can get the eventual all-star and finest cards when they release in Team Affinity. STS has already confirmed there will be multiple Team Affinity programs that come throughout this year. You don't have to worry about getting up to 365,000 Team Affinity points to get these. You won't need to. The next Team Affinity drop will be a brand new program. This is meant for long-lasting progress for people who really grind out with one team. So really, after you get this card, unless you want that foam finger so bad, you can just put your hands up and stop and go on to the next team. So what cards are you going to want to get? Babe Ruth is definitely high up on that list. For the Yankees, his cards just always are so good within the game. And this one, for an 85, is pretty great. He's got good contact against lefties, great power against righties. He's overall pretty balanced as an offensive threat. Not much of a defender. Of course, 36 speed and 60 fielding. And again, these guys are captains. You know, if you want to get a certain theme team, if you want to get a boost on your favorite team, of course, I think you should get that Team Affinity card. I'm really only going to be talking about attributes today. What cards could play no matter what roster you're possibly building. Which, funny we should mention that because Clay Buchholz for the Red Sox got nerfed into the dirt the other day. He does not offer much of a boost. That's because there's so many good Red Sox cards right now and to come soon. A little spoiler from our man Sebrev that he posted out. Buchholz is a pretty good pitcher. He's got a good pitch mix, sinker, four-seam, circle changeup, cutter, and a curveball. And then he really shines with that 114 pitching clutch. That in the hit 9 is going to allow for very small PCIs for your opponent. The Tampa Bay Rays have a good one in Junior Caminero. Very excited for him in real life. And in the game, too, he's pretty great. Again, he's more of a platoon guy, 107, 92 against lefties. But he holds his own, for sure, against righties. He's got fair fielding. Kind of crazy we're saying that, but that is like all right. That's not bad at this point where we are in the power creep. And he's also got second base and shortstop secondaries alongside his third base primary. You guys have probably noticed, if you've played the game this year so far, they really went hard on eliminating secondary positions from players this year. There's a lot of outfielders that can't play anywhere else in the outfield. However, I will say, and I'll talk about this more extensively, in my practice, in my playing, like a Walker Jenkins, who's a center fielder primary, does not have any secondaries, he's been perfectly fine in left field for me. So outfield, I wouldn't pay too much mind to playing somebody out of position, as long as they're an outfielder somewhere as a primary. But infield, I would be a little bit weary. The Cleveland Guardians. Andrew Miller is always one of the best left-handers in the game. This is no different. He is nasty, and he's a top southpaw that you can have out of your bullpen right away in this game. A slider, four-seam sinker. You'd obviously like an off-speed pitch there, but you can't really beg at this point in the year. He's got really good attributes. 117 pitch clutch. He's got plenty K per 9 to help with swings and misses. Andrew Miller is a dog. Big Frank Thomas is always one guy that you got to get in Diamond Dynasty. This is not a top-end Frank, of course. You know, he doesn't have his Nugenics and have his full testosterone boost right here, but he's pretty good. 96 power against lefties. I think now would be a good time for me to mention, with this game playing like it does, with there being a lot of lineouts, if you've had a chance to play it, especially online. It is lineout city. There is no exit velocities. They brought in the dead baseballs. It is tough to hit consistently online. I am really prioritizing power, and you're going to notice that in reflection with who I recommend here. I want the power. If you're a big contact hitter, those guys aren't working so much online. The game plays almost completely different on and offline right now. It is really weird. I am not exactly sure what's going on, but it is pretty depressing. So that being said, a guy like Richie Sexson is a shoo-in right here. He's really good. He had some underrated cards last year in MLB 24, and this card is 91 and 95 power against righties and lefties, respectively. Also 103 contact left. The vision isn't so much there, nor is the contact versus righties. A lot of these guys do have a bunch of quirks, which also helps them out, boost their attributes a little bit, helps them become a bit better. He's a first baseman only, but if you can find a spot for him, there's not too many better hitters at this point in the cycle. Every year, I recommend Craig Biggio. As Gunsky said, third leg Craig. He doesn't quite have that tripod power this year, 71-43 power, but there's not a lot of great backstops. There's not a lot of great catchers. We talked about the nixing of secondaries. Craig Biggio, whether you start him or have him on the bench, I always recommend having a catcher on the bench because as a thin offensive position, it's normally a spot that you're going to sub out at some point throughout a game. He is perfect. He can play the outfield. He's quick. He's also a pretty good catcher, and he can hit solidly. Bar none. My favorite Team Affinity card so far from playing is this Kyle Schwarber. He is so good. I talk about the power. This guy gets results. The exit velocities are down within Diamond Dynasty, especially online. We're curious, some people in my stream, if it's a network issue, you know, because it is a universally shared experience. Even guys like Beltran is not getting the kind of exit velocities in previous years. They could have nerfed hitting. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but it can be frustrating. But having a guy like Kyle Schwarber is really going to help you out right now, especially if you're playing on the lower difficulties. He doesn't have a ton of contact or vision, but he hits the ball a very far way, and this is how you can fix the game by putting in a player on your lineup. He is excellent. For the most part, if there's a reliever here in Team Affinity, I'm going to recommend him. John Franco, another very good left-hander that you can have out of your bullpen. He's got 5 pitches on this card: screwball, sinker, slider, four-seam, and a circle changeup. He's got pretty fair per nines all across the board, 100-plus hit and pitching clutch. He's a dog. He's another guy that you're really going to need out of your bullpen early on here. I do think there's a lot of great starting pitchers that you can get fairly easily in other parts of the game, but Tom Glavine is certainly a pretty solid one at this point of the year. He's going to have better control in a lot of pitchers. Another southpaw we're talking about. He does not have the sweeper. He has the sweeping curve, however, which does move a little bit different. He is missing out on maybe a cutter or something that could make that sinker a little bit more effective. But overall, he's still a very solid pitcher. Another pitcher, Rollie Fingers, a righty this time, out of the yarn barn. He has been huge for me in high leverage situations, yet to give up a run online. He slams the door when I need it most. He's consistent. Again, that 100-plus pitch clutch, 111 right here. And then the hit K and BB are all high. Little tip for Rollie Fingers, that fork ball, don't be afraid to throw it up high. He's got the control, the command of the strike zone, where he can throw that pitch with pretty good success. You just have to be on point with your pinpoint, your analog, your pulse, your meter, whatever input you are using. Big fan of Rollie fingers this year, and basically every year he's in the game. You talk about power, you're going to have it here with Jim Edmonds. He really does not have a ton of contact. At 80 and 51 against righties and lefties, the vision and clutch are also dangerously low. 43 clutch. Again, when there's runners in scoring position, clutch becomes the most important attribute, not contact, in determining your PCI size. Edmonds can bang, though. I wouldn't get him before a Schwarber or whatnot. He is a very good defender, which helps him out. He's got a great swing, good quirks, but get him at some point. Johnny Bench. We talk about the hole at catcher. Johnny can fill it. No need to have him on your bench at this point of the year. Nothing wows you. I mean, the fielding is quite good. 85 arm, 88 block. Those are the main two attributes I look at for catchers when actually playing the game here. I don't remember. He does not have pop time. He has 8 quirks in total, which is definitely a boost. But this is one of the best backstops that you can have right now, and he's free. It just takes a little bit of grinding. Stack your team with Reds, go into a couple conquest games, and you'll get there. Kutch, still getting it done at 38 years old. Man, that makes me feel old. He's very well-rounded offensively. Pretty much 80s to mid-80s and everything from contact to power. The clutch is there as well. Not a good defender, but again, not many players who can hit R that you can get fairly easily, especially for free at this point of the game. McCutchen is a great ad. Max Muncy, he's got a ton of power. I've loved him in the past. He's always been one of my favorite swings to use in the game. This card, no contact, no vision, no clutch, pure power. I don't have him. Let me know if you guys have used this Max Muncy, how he plays, if he can make contact with the ball. I'm a little concerned, but early game you might be able to get away with it and hit some nukes. And finally, one of my favorites for last is this Justin Martinez. I had the displeasure to face him. I was undefeated and ranked 10-0. My first Hall of Fame game, Justin Martinez comes up with his outlier sinker, and he absolutely killed me. He is very tough to hit. 95, 98 on hitting K per 9. Those are top shelf. You're not going to get much better right now. He's also got a pretty good pitch clutch as well, and he plays with a lot better control than you would think based off his attributes. He's nasty. He's insanely tough to hit. So those are all the Team Affinity cards I would recommend to you guys to go out and get right now. If you notice, I probably listed off about 15, which is also how many Jolt Series Team Affinity cards you will need to earn this voucher. A Legend and Flashback collection will come out in about a month's time, and if you get 15 Team Affinity Jolt Series cards, you will have this. So let me know in the comment section down below, what are your favorite Team Affinity cards that are getting the job done for you guys so far? I've been having a lot of fun. I will have a longer video, more specific, about some gripes that I'm having with the game right now, but I think the structure and the payout of Diamond Dynasty overall feels one hell of a lot more rewarding, and things feel fresh, even if it doesn't always feel great when you're playing, because there's a lot of bugs, there's a lot of glitches going on, and we just got to hope they're going to fix it. So leave a like if you guys enjoy this video. Thank you for watching.